Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to one and all for the second season of the Therapy Hour. I'm happy to have you here, and I hope this is the first of many the Therapy Hours as we move in to the remainder of the year. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ronke. Thank you for joining me. So whilst we're waiting for others to come in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do pinning. For all of you from the first season, you will understand that this was, let me see here, post, there we go, and we hold on, pin comment, that's it. So how are you all doing? I'm glad to have you all here. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome one and all. Welcome to the second season of the Therapy Hour. I'm happy to have you here. So, let's get started as we slowly welcome people in. Hello, how are you doing? All the way in Sussex. Just want to say what a glorious day we're having, and also I'm very happy to be back here in this seat. I'm not sure if I've configured the sitting area a little bit. Just try and give you continuity. So, welcome. As the first couple of minutes, as you can imagine, is welcoming people in, welcoming people into the room. Everybody's grabbing a seat. Some people are making a tea. Others are making a coffee right now. Some is Ribena, Vimto, whatever it may be, getting ready to sit down in a quiet space where we can all have an hour once a week in order for us to be able to explore, challenge, and deal with any issues, either mental, emotional, psychological, in this, the Therapy Hour. So for me to introduce myself to some of you guys that this may be your first session, this may be the first time you joining me. If it is, welcome. Thank you for taking the time out. So let me allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Nathaniel Oke, and I'm a psychotherapist for the last going on to 13 years now. And what I do is I'm a director of an organization called Talking Therapy Clinic. And Talking Therapy Clinic is a counseling organization that provides one-to-one counseling, that provides group therapy, that provides training, facilitation, and developing specific and bespoke programs. Okay, so that's a little bit about myself. I'm reintroducing myself just for the new guys in the space, or maybe for some of you that have forgotten about this space or forgotten about me a little bit. You know, life is a perennial thing that can get in the way. So let's get started. For today's session, the Therapy Hour, I thought, let's reintroduce the process again. Let's get people involved again. And let's open the floor once again, similar to my last session, which was exactly 3 months ago now. June 20th was my last session. And here we are, September 20th is the second season of the Therapy Hour. So thank you guys for joining me. You know, sitting here, I'm like, maybe I may have one or two. Maybe my mom may be listening. You know, maybe my loved ones may be like, oh, I'm just going to give this guy a viewership, you know. So here we go. Who knows what to expect? But we live in the moment, and we endure, and we explore wherever the moment may bring us without fear. Even if fear comes in, you know, if you recall from the first season, fear is our friend. So if a friend visits and his name or her name is fear, we welcome it in. All right. So during the hiatus, I've had many people sending me messages, direct messages, contacting me, asking when is the Therapy Hour going to return. So, and I'm always telling them, well, it will return when it will return, because the plan initially was no plan. The plan was me sitting there and going, how can I provide support and assistance using what I have to a mass of people? How can I provide therapy to people that may not have access, may not have financial access, may think therapy is not for them, may not even understand the benefits of therapy. How can I provide it for those people that may not have access to it? And there, the therapy hour was born. Let me go on a platform in order for me to be able to provide any sort of support or assistance I can. And based on the first 12 sessions we had, it seems as if it was successful. So that success is shared not only by myself, but also with you as well, the guys that are here joining me. We've got a new time, which is Sunday, 6 p.m. I'm trying it out. I'm seeing how it goes. I'm seeing if maybe Sunday is more palatable to some than others. Saturday, 2 p.m. seemed to be slap bang in the middle of going out, shopping, your first day away from work. So I thought maybe Sunday is a perfect time for you to be able to sit down there and at 6 p.m. Some of you may have had your dinner. Some of you are going to have your dinner. Some of you may even be prepping dinner right now. If you are, sprinkle seasoning on it. Your ancestors thank you. All right. So I'm trying out 6 p.m. on a Sunday. We'll see how it goes for the next few sessions. But I think it should be a good time. Well, a majority of people have come back to me saying they preferred Sunday. So I thought, you know what? Let's listen to the people listening. All right. So for today's session, let's get started. Today's session is opening the floor to questions galore. Opening the floors to you guys that if you've got any questions you have, how can I ask a therapist a question? I'm worried about this. I'm concerned about this. I'm scared of this. I'm worried, scared, anxious, whatever it may be. If I can, I will support. I will try to expand that topic for you. And for the next few sessions, I'm going to be choosing a topic each at different periods of time. I just want to let you guys know the topics I've got lined up. Some of them are, I'm going to have a men's series, which is a series on issues affecting men. So we're talking about suicide rate, which is greatly higher in men than in women. We're talking about toxic masculinity. We're talking about masculinity in general, toxic or otherwise. What does it actually mean? And we're going to go through some of those issues in future sessions. We're going to talk about the old faithful, the anxiety, the depression, the self-doubt, the fear, the worry, all of those as well. We're going to be able to expand it a little bit. And in the 3 months, I've been working on different theories to make it easier or more clearer for people to be able to connect with. So I'm going to be introducing you to some of the theories that I've put together. So we're going to be talking about anxiety specifically. I've put in a nice little program together for anxiety, but I'll be giving you a snippet of that during this second season of the therapy hour. I've been looking at depression and the relationship between depression and anxiety, and I'll put a little package together as well, just to make it a little bit easier. I'll give you a little snippet of that as well in one of the sessions. Fear, that topic I love so much. I've fine-tuned and want to be able to present fear, the acronym for fear, what it means, and how we can work around it. And as I always say, how we can invite it in, listen to it, chew the fat with it, and then make our decisions, not fear's decisions, our decisions. We'll be talking about that as well. Also, I'm going to be talking about relationships in future sessions. I know it's not something I talked about in the first season, but it's something that I always plan to talk about. So I'm going to be talking about that in this season as well. I may have a psychotherapist or two to join me in different topics as we go through it. I've got one specifically that I'm hoping will be joining me when we talk about relationships. Fingers crossed she says yes to that. All right? Charisse, I'm talking to you. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in future sessions. Hello, everyone, for joining me once again. All right? So for today, I've got about 5 different questions so far. But feel free to send me some of yours right now. And as I pick them up on the comments you've got there, I'll be able to take it from there. All right? And I'll be able to respond to it. We've got 50 minutes. So what I will do is I will ensure that I get through to each and every question before we end it today. All right? So with no further ado, let's go for it. Hello, Dario. Good to see you. All right? Good to see each and every one of you that's taking the time out to be here. I genuinely appreciate it. All right? So let's make something special of this space. And First question that I've got here today, because I sent something out on Instagram. I've been really working on my IT or my Instagram skills of how to communicate and engage more with everyone. So I tried the questions, and some of the questions that came through from that, my stories, some of them I've got here, some of them I sent me direct messages. So I'll be going through those questions now. So the first one we're talking about here is Old Faithful. I call it Old Faithful because it is one in which I always try to practice. I'm not always successful, but I always try to practice, which is self-care. Self-care is one in which I covered in the first series as well. I'm going to expand on it again today. I'm going to touch on it right now. Self-care and self-love, I like to merge them together, right? Self-love says, I love you. Self-care says, prove it. So I love that saying, and it's probably on one of my feeds because it just says it perfectly. Self-love, I love myself. Yes, I love you, Nathaniel. Yes, I do. But self-care is that part of it that says, prove it. Show me that you do love me. Show me that you do care about me. Show me, you say self-love, right? And we all say self-love, I love myself. Self-care is there to say, all right, prove it. Show me in your deeds that you do love me. And how do we do that for ourselves? Let's look at tangible actions that we take. Not accidental ones, like I accidentally fell asleep. That's self-care, right? No. I want you to take actual, deliberate, conscious actions in order for you to show yourself how much you love yourself. Okay? So self-care is about what conscious decisions can I take right now with regularity to show myself how much I matter. Let me say that once again. What conscious effort and decision can I take to show myself that I indeed love myself, that I indeed matter? So that is a very important question that you need to answer for yourself. Whatever you may love cooking, you may love gardening. Gardening is very popular in this household right now. So that is one of the many things that I am trying, in the last 3 months, I've been watching, looking, I've been trying myself to say, all right, let me try and get these fingers a little bit dirty. Let me try and do a little bit something that is out of my comfort zone that I'm not used to. It's all part of my self-care regime. So for you, asking a question about self-care, I want you to ask yourself that question. When you say you love yourself, prove it. Show me that you love yourself. Show yourself that you love yourself by taking conscious steps and making conscious decisions on caring for yourself. So, once again, self-care is not about accidentally falling asleep or accidentally watching a movie. I want you to put into your diary, the same thing that Monday I've got meetings at 9, 10, 11, 12. And those meetings, you are not going to skip them, are you? No, you're not. You've got appointments that you're not going to skip. You've got phone calls you need to make, emails you need to respond to. You are not going to skip those because those are very important. So when you skip an appointment, a self-care appointment, you're showing yourself, I don't matter as much as that email. I don't matter as much as that meeting, that Zoom meeting. I don't matter as much as what. So what I want for you, if you are interested in the self-care, I want you to take that time to actually, right now, if you can, list all the things that you feel good when you do it. Whatever makes you feel good. It could be exercise, maybe. It could be singing. It could be dancing. It could be gardening. It could be turning the light off and just basking in the solitude or the silence. It could be talking to a friend on face video. These days, I love face videos. Before this, I didn't do it as much, but now I'm finding myself doing it with more regularity. That connection that we yearn as human beings. So I want you to list those things down. And if you list those things down, so you can do it right now, whilst you're cooking, whilst you're chilling, whatever you may be doing right now. Make a note of all the things that, no, I like that. All the things that you've noticed you feel good after doing. Not finishing that bottle of wine if you know you've got issues in regards to that. All right? Not seeking out toxic relationships or calling that ex or somebody that you feel is not best for you. I'm talking about the things that you can do for yourself that you always recall feeling good about. I want you to do that. List it down. And then what I want you to do then is I want you to book an appointment. Go into your Outlook folder. I want you to book that appointment, a date and a time that I want you to put in there. Once you put that date and a time in that folder, I want you to keep to that appointment. Okay? Keep to that appointment. It's as important as all the other appointments. You've got doctor's appointments, you keep to it. Remember, you can't cancel. You've got an email that you need to respond to, you don't cancel it, right? I want you to keep to this appointment because you are going to show yourself. When you say, I love you, your actions will mirror those words. I want you to book an appointment for yourself every month, if need be. If you're going through something right now, it may be best for you to do it every week for now. Okay? And once you do that, I want you to keep that appointment with regularity. I want you to, all the things you've listed down as things that you enjoy doing, within reason, I want you to try and fit it into each appointment. This is your moment. This is your time. There's no not being selfish. There's no, I haven't got time for that. We make time for what's important. So if you're not making time for that, you are basically telling yourself that you are not important. And if that's the case, that is something that we need to work on and talk about. Because that, in essence, is the barrier to you showing yourself you love yourself. Okay? I hope I've answered that question well. I will tell you one of the things I love doing to show myself that I love myself. I like reading or, taking time out. I like reading. I like watching people garden for now. I'm going to try gardening in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to buy my own terracotta pot and everything else, and I'm going to go for it. I like singing. I like listening to music. And a song that I hadn't heard for a while, it used to be my go-to song every time I felt down, was Tracy Chapman, the album, the album, Fast Car. I love listening to that, and it just makes me feel there's something about a voice, the acoustic guitar and everything else that just connects me somewhere. So I love that. So whatever it is, do it for yourself. Dance. And when I say dance, dance as if you've got 50,000 people in the audience cheering you on. That kind of dance, like, go for it. Okay? If you're not sweating, you're not doing it right. Okay? So that is a little bit of my self-care regimen. All right? So I've answered that question. The next one is, hello everyone that's just joined me since I've been talking. Welcome to the second season of the Therapy Hour. It's good to see you all from different sides of the world. Soon I'll be asking you which parts of the world you all come from. So that way, hello, that way I can, Catherine, that way I can tell, okay, how far the Therapy Hour is spreading its wings. Okay? We're all interconnected anyway, whether we like it or not. The color of our passport does not determine our identity, our origin, or our intersectionality. Okay? Now, going to the next question. The next question is very similar to the first one. It's about burnout. And burnout is a culmination of you skipping your self-care appointments. All right? Burnout is the outcome of you skipping your self-care appointments. So what that looks like right now, you may think, well, I'm not traveling to work anymore because COVID has limited my traveling options. I'm working from home. Remember before March 20th, if someone said to you, you'll have a working from home day, everybody will be so excited, right? Because it was a break from the norm. I don't have to wear any shirt. I don't have to wear whatever. I'll leave it there. But what I've noticed, and what a lot of my clients have noticed, is that whilst they're working from home, they're working harder, longer hours, more intense hours. There are less breaks within their days. Their days could start earlier and finish later. They are more accessible to their colleagues, their managers, their clients, wherever it may be, because you are home. What excuse have you got? Of course you're available. Being at home does not mean that you are available. And if we separate the two, we may start taking better care of ourselves. What that means is boundaries need to be set. I want you to set your own boundaries and determine, when do I start work? When do I put the computer on? When do I check my work emails? And I want you to keep to it. And at work, right, when you go to prep or you go to M&S or Waitrose to buy your lunch, or you're lucky enough to have packed lunch in your box ready for you to warm up at work. You take that time, don't you? I guess most of you do, right? I want you to do the same thing when you're at home. So when it's your lunchtime, that phone is off, the laptop or the computer is closed, and you take the time away from your working station. So if you're working in the kitchen and you want to eat, go to the living room. If you work in the living room, go to the kitchen. If you're working in the bedroom, go into the kitchen, the living room, the hallway, the stairs, wherever it may be. Take that time for yourself, away from work. Read a magazine, talk to a friend, do one of those things on the phones. Just that, oh wow. Just do whatever you need to do in order to give that brain, your eyes, your body a break. All right? And if you're sitting down most of the day, please stand up intermittently. And for the burnout is not only a physical thing. For me, I find burnout is more a mental state. So when you do burn out, it's your mind that's burning out. It's your mind that is actually tired. Burnout basically means I'm tired. I need a break. Help. Stop. I want to stop now. It's like taking a child shopping, right? Can I go home now? Are we finished now? Are we finished now? I've had enough. Burnout is your mind and your body telling you that it's time for you to have a break. Okay? Now, can you hear me better now? I see something there that says volume, please. Is that better? I hope so. So that is what burnout is about. So how do you counter that? We counter that by the regularity in which we take time to look out for ourselves. The regularity in which we say, I am important. So booking your clients, talking to clients, colleagues, I want you to put you in your schedule. You want ice cream? Okay. I want you to go and buy that ice cream for yourself. All right? So you walk to wherever the shop is. I'm not going to say any shops, but I actually love a particular ice cream from a shop. And walking to get it is actually a beautiful thing. And it's a little treat to myself. A mental break from the norm, from my surroundings, from the anxiety, from the work stress, from whatever it may be. Take that time for you. And like I said about the self-care, this is a part of self-care. Get the regularity within it in order for you to be able to last longer. All right? That analogy comes once again. You're in the airplane and they tell you, the air steward and the air stewardess tell you, put it on your face first before you can put it on your child. It's more important that you look out for yourself first, because then you'll be your most productive. It seems like, oh no, I'm too busy to do that. Well, in the long run, you will be losing out. So if it makes it easier for yourself to think of it that way, then do it. I'm investing in myself so I can produce more. I can be more successful. I can be more efficient. All right? So for me, with the burnout, it's very important. And burnout is also telling me something. You know, when someone is talking to me about self-care, what can I do for self-care? Or what can I do to stop burnout? It's telling me something else. And if you don't mind, I just want to talk about that a little bit. And what I want to talk about is this. The fact that you do not want to stop. The fact that you are working yourself so hard is telling me that you are worried about what would happen if you stop for a little bit. You are concerned about what will happen if you take time for yourself. What would happen if I don't carry on? And that is the fear that is making you put yourself last. That fear itself is preventing you from taking that time to walk to the shop rather than drive, to read rather than work. That fear itself is what is holding you back from prioritizing yourself, because of the fear of, if I don't, this would happen or that will happen. I'm not asking you to take a month's break from everything. Take a little time with regularity, and your body and your mind will thank you for it. And you will see yourself, you're more productive. Okay? Next question. All right. How are you guys doing over there, first of all? You guys okay? For those ones that are joining me for the first time, live right now, if you don't mind just making yourself known, wave, or just saying first time over here, so I can just recognize you and say hi to you. All right? So today's session is the first of many for the second season. Hello, Miss Kiss. All right, welcome to the therapy hour. It's a nice comfy space, isn't it? I've got my plants here. I've got lighting on. Yes, I've got lighting on and everything. This is not the British sun that is blessing me. It is artificial lighting for the occasion. First time, how you doing? Sugar Brown. Sounds like that name is someone that should be releasing like a funkadelic album. Sugar Brown. Yes. Welcome to the therapy hour. Welcome to this space. Welcome for coming and joining me and taking time out of your Sunday. All right. So the next question, I'll go into the next question here. The next question here is self-sabotage. All right. So let's go into self-sabotage. Let me take off my burnout there. Self-sabotage. How many of you have experienced self-sabotage? By show of hands. I'll wait, because I'll put my hands up right now myself. How many of you have experienced sabotaging yourself? And for all you guys, I'm not sure what sabotaging is doing things that you know it's not good for you to try and block yourself. Doing what you've sworn you're not going to do. Doing things like, I've got an exam next week. Yeah, you know what? I really, really want to watch this movie right now. Yeah? Self-sabotaging. This person is abusive. But okay, I'm going to call him again. Give him another chance. Why not? So self-sabotage, as you can see from everyone's putting their hands up, seems to be a universal thing. So if you are experiencing self-sabotage, the first thing I will say to you is, you are not alone. As you can see with the show of hands, here right now, we are all in this with you, right? We are all at one point in our lives experienced the art of self-sabotaging. What does that feel like? And when do you recognize that you're actually self-sabotaging? All right. I self-sabotage for many years. And sometimes, if I'm not actively looking at it, I still do. But when I take the time out to actually challenge, now this is the part where the question is talking about, how do I recognize it? Recognizing it by challenging, regularly having conversations with yourself. All right? It's a beautiful thing. Imagine talking to yourself and having a relationship with yourself. So you know certain things about yourself. We all do, right? Every one of us right now, if we're talking about if I ask you certain questions, you know the answer. Deep down, you know the answer. I want you to, rather than having it so deep down, I want you to just bring it up a little bit so you can get comfortable and get familiar with the answers to those questions about yourself. You are one person that you are going to spend more time with than any human being on this earth, and that's you. So imagine living with a stranger for all your life. Sounds a little bit whack to me. So ask that question. How are you doing? You okay? Yeah, I'm all right. No. How are you doing? I do this thing right now where I ask somebody, how are you? And they say, I'm fine, thanks. And I challenge them immediately. I said, no, really, how are you? Or when someone asks me, Nathaniel, how are you? I'll be like, I take a moment and I think about being as congruent as possible in that situation, within reason, and just answer, I am good. I'm in a good place right now. I want you to ask yourself a series of these questions. How are you? What is the current vibrations that you're feeling right now? Is it a positive one? Is it a negative one? Is it an inconclusive one? Whatever it may be, connect to that. Recognize it. Listen to it. The art of listening, it's got nothing to do with words. The art of listening, it's got nothing to do with just being quiet and hearing the words somebody else is saying. The art of listening for me is connecting to the information, to the connection, to the feeling that it's being expressed. Silence could be communication. Smiles could be communication. Eye contact, a look away could be communication. That's for you to listen. And I want you to listen to give yourself that treatment and try to understand how you are. And in answering the question about self-sabotaging, it is about, the more you do that, the more you will be able to list what I said a little bit earlier about boundaries. Boundaries is a beautiful thing. Now imagine you setting other people boundaries. Do not touch my hair. Do not touch my face. Do not hug me unless you're kin. We set certain boundaries. I'm not going to look at my work on the weekend. I'm not going to pick up a phone call after midnight. Whatever it may be, the boundaries you set in the outside world. Now imagine setting yourself those boundaries. And what that means is, ask yourself, what are my red lines? What are the things that I have recognized and have identified and I have decided I am not going to settle for? If someone speaks to me in what I find a disrespectful way, that's a red line. I will not tolerate it. If certain things are not being met, certain agreements, certain, agreements that we've all had with somebody else, and they're like flaking on it, we set it up. So what about you develop a relationship with yourself where you recognize, like I said before, if we ask deep down, you already know what those red lines are. So when you choose to do them anyway, that's you self-sabotaging yourself. That's you recognizing it but just dismissing it. Because in that moment, there are many reasons why people self-sabotage. And you need to identify for yourself. It could be a relationship. Why am I settling for this? Why am I doing what I have decided is not good for me? Why am I doing this? And then we challenge that. Is it something to do with the way you feel about yourself? Do you feel you are not going to get anything better, so you might as well accept this thing that you had previously decided wasn't the best thing for you? I'm supposed to go for this job, but I'm not going to go for it because I can't be bothered. Okay, well, it doesn't matter anyway. Well, probably won't get it anyway. So you do other things just to avoid that. What is the fear that lays behind that action? Disappointment? Expectations not being met? Confirmation that you are not worthy as you fear you are not? All of these things that you fear, I want you to identify. No, we're not going to be soft. We're not going to be, nah, I won't think about it. Let's go for it. All of the fears that you've identified, list them. List each and every one of them. I'm going to face them on. And I'm more than happy to face them on with you through this platform. List them. Identify them. Because this, we're talking about self-sabotage. It lies in the fear. That fear, that procrastination comes into as well. People talk about procrastination. Why you be so, oh my gosh, why are you procrastinating? Stop being lazy. Lazy? Procrastination has got nothing to do with laziness or energy. That fear of what I could achieve, or that fear of what if I don't achieve this? So I'm going to do everything else to avoid triggering that fear. By starting that conversation with yourself and getting to listen to yourself and understand yourself better, that self-sabotaging, you'll be having that conversation. Why are you doing this? Why are you going to his house? Because, I can't be bothered, I'm lonely, I'm bored. Okay. And you recall how you felt the last time that you made that decision not to do that again? Yeah, but ask yourself if you deserve better. And ask yourself if you're worth more. And we started this question and answer session talking about self-care. And I said, self-love is you telling yourself, I love you. But self-care is you replying, prove it. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to prove that self-love. Perfect opportunity to do that. You can see in the comments here, we're talking about self-sabotaging and the fear of other people's expectations. Expectations are one of those words that I don't know how any other therapists feel about this, but expectations are born out of so many things that I want you to check it. I want you to check each and every expectations you have or you feel other people have of you. And the thing about expectations is, not a lot of people may know this, but you are talking about other people's expectations of you. But by doing that, you are showing that these are your expectations of other people's expectations of you. Sometimes we project what other people may expect from us, without realizing maybe they're not. maybe in their mind they want what's best for you, and what they think may be best for you may be X, Y, and Z. And you are so focused on the X, Y, and Z without actually taking a moment to look at, before they thought about X, Y, and Z, what was going on for them? What is their motivation? Their motivation or their thoughts were, what is best for this person? Because I want the best for them. X, Y, and Z is what they've come up with. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the most important thing in that process. We forget that these people that may be having expectations of us, positive expectations of us, are doing it because they care about us. They love us. Let's focus on that love rather than the X, Y, and Z they may have come up with. I want my daughter to be a doctor, and then the expectations on top of her. But why do I want her to be a doctor? Because I want her to be successful. I want her not to worry about certain things. I want her to be respected and valued. Now that is what I want you to take from these people's expectations of you. And if you hold on to that, then the freedom of exploring the world and ending wherever you want to end will become easier, because the burden of what you're expecting other people to expect of you will be lifted. Okay? So I hope I've answered that question well enough for you guys. All right? Two more questions. And if you've got any questions that I haven't considered, please fire through. Because like I said, this is your space. There's an opportunity for you to be able to interact, engage, ask me anything you want to ask me whilst I'm here. You'll have another chance next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. But whilst we're here, let's make the most of it. All right. The next question seems quite an existential one. The next question is about I'm thinking about phrasing it and clearing up my understanding of it. Never be afraid to take time to listen to your mind work. All right? You don't have to just be talking for the sake of it. Value that processing time. The next question is talking about belonging. Do I belong here in this world? Where do I belong? Where do I fit in? That's why I said it was an existential one, because it seems it's one in which, I don't know about you guys, but I have definitely battled through for different periods in my life. I've got this something I say to my nearest and dearest, and I'll share it with you. Right? A lot of people say, "Oh, you only live once," but I don't say that. You know, I always say something a little bit different. I always say, "You only die once." You only die once. Now, why do I reframe that old saying of "you only live once" like that? The reason why I reframe it like that, because it's something that's very important to me, for me to recognize, for me to remind myself of, which is, we live many lives. We live many, many lives, but we only die once. The beauty of living many, many lives is not lost on me, and I want you guys to think about it in this moment right now. As we're sitting down, listening, exploring, questioning, challenging, I want you to think about that. We live many lives, but we only die once. So our focus is on all the lives we live. And what I mean by that, because I'm sure you guys are racking your brain like, hold on a minute, how many lives has he got? Is he a cat? No. We live many lives, because if I asked you 10 years ago, what kind of a person were you? Describe yourself 10 years ago. Go further, 20 years ago. Are you the same person as you were 20 years ago? And for those that are a little bit older than that, 30 years ago. So you live different lives. You've gone
primary school, you've done your schooling, the education, the falling in love again, friendships, profession, family, financial, so many different parts of your lives. You're learning and you're growing and you're evolving. Those are different lives. But you only die once. So in saying that, what I'm saying is, where do I fit in this many lives, this world? And that question could make you pull your hair out if you haven't shaved it off already. But that question suggests to me something else. It suggests to me it's a sense of identity, a sense of belonging, feeling maybe isolated, feeling maybe misunderstood. Where do I fit in this world? Where do I belong in this great sphere of the world we live in? That's a very powerful question. I want to invite you to explore that question and maybe answer it for yourself. Where do you think you belong? Do you not feel you fit in to the space you currently inhabit? And if you don't, in what way do you not fit in? And in what way would you like to fit in? By exploring those questions, we are digging, funneling to try and get to the source of that feeling. A series of questions will drive it home to get to the core and the source of whatever issues or feelings we're going through. If you feel you want to belong, you want to fit in, suggest you don't feel you do already. And what does fitting in mean to you? If I said fitting in to so many people will be like, oh, it means this or that. But for you, what does fitting in, what does belonging, what does that mean to you? That's what I want you to explore in this moment. There's no rush. It's nice and quiet, peaceful, I hope, wherever you guys are watching this. And ask those questions. I don't fit in. In what way? I don't belong. In what way? Let's put some meat on the bone. If I don't, how or what would determine that I do? How would I recognize that I fit in all of a sudden? How would I be able to recognize that shift? How would I feel that I belong somewhere? What will be the signs of me belonging? Fire it through. One of the comments says, logically, I feel I know why I should, but I still find myself dwelling throughout the day. What are you dwelling on? What are the specifics you are dwelling on? What is the doubt? Put the doubt, if you can, phrase it in a sentence. We have a feeling, and sometimes the feeling can be blurry, but the feeling feels negative, or we'll try and push it away because it doesn't feel good. Sometimes let's try and put words to it, if we can, to describe it. What is that feeling telling you? What is it saying? And by exploring that, we can get clarity, just a little bit clarity. And from there, we'll expand the clarity and more and more. And before you know it, you're having a conversation. You're engaging with yourself and your doubts and your worries. You're engaging with them to try and understand it. Are you taking the time out to ask yourself that now? Any of you, all of you, to explore. Where do I fit in this world? Do I feel I belong? Do I want to belong? It's taking that time out to have honest, dirty, ugly conversations with yourself. Like, have a conversation that's so dirty and ugly. It's so real, so raw, that you're not trying to offend anyone, or you don't care, because you're just having a raw feeling, a raw conversation, honest conversation with yourself. Where are we trying to go to? What is that feeling that scares the hell out of us, or makes us feel so sad and lonely and isolated? I want to belong somewhere. And belong somewhere, what's the tangible of that? Fitting in, belonging. There's a comment that just flashed up for me, which is belonging and fitting in is loving and being loved. Loving and being loved. And that in itself is a form of belonging. That I belong somewhere. When someone values me to the point in which they're loving me, they're inviting me into their world, their space. And we're talking about value, right? And mattering so much. And that value in situations like that, sometimes we look outside for validation. We look outwardly for someone else to see us, for someone else to tell us that we are worthy. So for me, I think it's important for us to have, the reason why I've been talking today about having very honest conversations with ourselves is, what happens when that person that we are seeking to love us, what happens when they stop? What happens when they go away? What happens when we lose them? By seeking validation elsewhere, or seeking a sense of belonging and value elsewhere, when we haven't built a beautiful, formidable home within ourselves that we connect to, that we love, that we cherish, that we smile when we think about it, then we in essence are slave to the whims of others. But that question that the person asked me is very important, because it suggests that there needs to be that conversation, or I encourage you to have that internal dialogue with yourself and build that relationship with yourself. That sense of belonging and feeling of mattering comes internally, from within out. And what I mean by that is that internal understanding of yourself, that internal knowledge of yourself, awareness of yourself. It's so strong because you're feeding it, you're nurturing it, and it's getting stronger and stronger. That somebody else can come and sit next to you, and they could be, in essence, partners in loving the house you built. And they want to be a part of that. Just to be like, you know what? I don't want to dismantle this house. I want to be a part of it. So when that person may want to go away, that house is so solid, beautifully made, bespoke home that you've built on very solid ground will not fall down by the absence or the disappearance of others. Have that conversation with yourself. What the hell do I love about myself? Let me try and belong in this home that I live in, that we all live in. We all live internally in our own home. Let me belong here. Let me belong here. Let me belong our chi, our core. Let me belong there. Let me feel a connection to myself. What do I like? Why the hell do I like that? I don't know. I just love it. It makes me laugh. Okay. Let me explore that. Let me look and value myself to that point. So wherever I go, remember at the beginning of this, I was talking about we live with ourselves and we see ourselves more than any human being on this earth. So it would be a shame if we lay next to a stranger, right? So this is a perfect opportunity for us to develop that relationship. It's not being selfish. It's valuing where you reside in. What do I like to do? What makes me smile? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? And it's starting that conversation. And a lot of us, we've lived so many years running the opposite way of that conversation. I'm trying to invite you back to have that conversation with yourself. In therapy, it is about, exploring it. One of my friends, a very dear friend, posted something on Instagram a week ago too, which is about therapy is about studying. You're welcome, by the way. So she put a comment on Instagram saying, therapy is about studying and the subject is you. So imagine going to university, right? It's like, I want to get that 2-1. I want to get that first. Some cases get that 2-2, whatever. I want to graduate this. I want to qualify and get this degree, this certification, this diploma in this subject. Now imagine you turn up the first day of university, college, whatever it may be, and they say, this semester, this whole course is going to be about you. This whole course is going to be about you. Because the reason why I'm saying this is, the next question is talk about therapy. I want to do therapy, but I don't know how to start. I'm scared. I'm scared of what may come out. I'm scared of what I may discover. I'm scared that I may not be the same again. So imagine studying, going to uni, college, whatever it may be, and the conversation, the study is about you. So therapy is about exploring yourself, identifying what the issues are, and having someone that is there to walk with you as you go through that journey. Somebody there guiding you on how you can discover new paths and understand it. Therapy is having somebody there to hold you, to ground you as you go through probably the most challenging and difficult journey. That's what therapy can do. That's why I'm in this profession, to be able to help others, to be able to support others. And you find a therapist that can do that for you. It is a beautiful, beautiful relationship. Because another human being in that moment is taking the time out to be with you, to connect with you, to value you, to explore issues that you have brought in. And for that therapeutic hour, that therapist is studying you. You are the most important thing in that space, in that room. And for the week before the therapist sees you again, they will have gone through different periods to exploring how to help you. Now, we've reached the end of the first session of the therapy hour. I want to thank everyone for taking the time out to come in and join me. Next week, Sunday, 6 p.m., same place. I'll be here. I hope you can come. Bring a friend, bring another friend, whatever. Thank you for taking the time out. See you soon.